Hey everybody, I'm DeoGenZ here with an important message, so stay tuned. 1 year and 1 day ago, an unofficial remembrance ceremony was started. The day was marked Spirit Day to symbolize everyone who is shadowed over by hatred for what their sexuality is. Whether it's homosexual or bisexual, this day was to remember a couple of teenage boys who committed suicide after bullying. It's not just to remember them, and it's not just to mourn over. It's to look back and take a lesson from this all. Now, I'm certain that it still continues on today. I know for a fact, at least when I was in school, they never really taught love for one another. And now, I'm not speaking love in any sort of sexual way, so this is strictly platonic, but love for one another. In these frightening times where the government looks over your shoulder and tells you everything's going to be all right with their hand in your back pocket, we need to stick together. And aside from that, you need to realize we're all human. I myself am straight, but I have homosexual friends, men and women. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these people. In fact, I often favor them in conversation over others because I find that their minds are not locked down to what culture has dictated to them as being correct. The government nor religion has any right to tell you who you can and cannot love. That's completely illogical. And I'm coming here today to spread messages of love and to spread messages of hope and happiness that you have a friend. I'm your friend. Although I may not know you personally, I may just be a picture on your screen or phone or wherever you may be viewing this. But I want you to know that I'm here for all of you. And if there's ever a time where things are questionably tough for you, my first recommendation is please find an adult. Suicide is never an answer. It does not solve anything. Although yes, it did spur on this Spirit Day, which was yesterday, although I had to make the video today since my computer just came back from the grave. It's still not a holiday, if you could even call it that I want to be partaking in. The fact that these boys all committed suicide because of hatred, just hatred alone, it really sickens me. And I want you to know that in the end, you have friends, and it may be a tough situation now. You may be looked at as someone who's awkward, but it comes from fear. Overall, this society perpetuates fear. Fear of the government, fear of the religious societies, fear of your own neighbors, because it's perpetuated throughout this culture. Fear is the catalyst for capitalism. Because if you're not fearing one another, then why would you keep competing with one another? If you don't have to fear the differences of your fellow man, why would you turn yourself into slavery in ways of a wage? What we need to realize is we need to disband fear permanently. Now I know that's a tall order that probably will never come to fruition. Because as much as you may be at this time, if you are someone who is homosexual or bisexual, being bullied by someone who you feel is a complete ass, you have to realize that that fear came from somewhere, and it most likely came from a brutal childhood. It could have come from an abusive father who smacked his child at any time he was acting a little queer, a little strange, a little bit creative, or whatever the abusive parent saw as incorrect in his eyes. that fear is passed on to the child, unfortunately, and with a lack of education, I suppose, and compassion, it's very hard to abolish fear completely. So if you are someone who is being bullied, I'm very sorry that that is happening. Please seek help from an adult. Do not commit suicide. I'm here to talk. And I'm here to spread love. Because the only way to combat fear is not with anger, is not with rage, it's not with restriction, it's love. I've said this many times before on my Cannabis Correction blog series that the only evil we have to combat is ignorance. And it remains true for this situation as well. If we can all understand that our differences make us who we are, and that's a spectacular thing. The reason our world is so rich in experiences and different arts and different kinds of people and personalities is because of these differences. We should be embracing them, not shedding them away. And it certainly won't be helped by this system in which we have politicians running who claim to pray the gay away, or like that black Republican who says he respects the people who make a choice to be homosexual. It's not a choice. You know, that's funny. I respect your choice to be black. Nameless Republican who I don't respect at all, because you're just another propagator of fear. Ignore those people. Spread happiness. Spread love. And eventually, you'll find who you're looking for. It may be a rough patch now, but when you come towards your enemies with understanding, there's nothing they can do to you. Physical afflictions, they're temporary. And as I've mentioned before, authority is there to help you. Seek this authority because it's there on your side. I'm on your side in the compassion side of things, and I am always, every day, trying to spread this message. And as such, this Sunday I'll be having a podcast on my website, what'sinsidemyhead.com, in which we'll be discussing this matter further in more than 15 minutes, because, quite frankly, it's a topic that needs to go into greater depth. It's a discussion that needs to be had very thoroughly. And I'll also be having a special guest on there, and I will leave him unnamed until you hear the podcast. So please tune into that when it is up on Sunday. I'm DeoGenZ, reminding you to spread the love, spread the happiness. Ignorance is our only enemy. Knowledge will surpass. Peace.